Hi, all. This is Dr. Dave Maslach, and what I want to talk about in this video is the feelings of regret or shame, and truly just to say I'm sorry to anybody that I've hurt in the past or done anything that was, maybe not in their best interest in any sort of way. So, if you don't know who I am, I'm an associate professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. And I created this whole reciprocity platform. It's a sharing economy editing platform. And I started doing these YouTube videos. And it sort of morphed into, first of all, sort of talking about life, everything, and then it turned into life as a PhD, and now it's giving me a platform just to talk about myself and things that maybe resonate with you in terms of dealing with these kind of things. So there's a couple of people that I especially want to say sorry to, and I don't even think that they're still alive. So Mr. Lund, he was our neighbor, and I lived in rural Ontario, and they had a wood stove. So Mr. Lund actually had polio when he was a kid, and he could not walk. So he was in a wheelchair, and it was my job to go and pile up wood for him, chop up wood and pile up wood, bring it into the house because they had a wood furnace. And me being my silly self when I think I was 12, maybe 10 to 12 years old, I did that every week, and he would pay me for it. He was an accountant, so he's really good at that kind of stuff. And me being my silly self thought it would be great to to sort of get the job done faster and not pack as much wood into the wood pile. So what I would do is strategically put out the wood or pack up the wood inside such that it would take up more space. And so there's lots of gaps in it. And I thought this was the best way to make as much money as quick as I possibly can, right? So that's sort of same old thing that we all go through. Talking about it right now is funny because in my head, this was a bigger thing than I thought it was going to be. And yet, when I tell you out loud, it's not necessarily as big of a thing. I'd still go there every single week, but I thought I would get away with things and get paid. I think I was maybe getting $5 to $10 each time I'd go do that particular chore. So here's me trying to cheat somebody that had polio when they were a kid and they could not walk. They were in a wheelchair. Yeah, I'm truly sorry. Like, what an idiot. And, if I'd go back, I would try to do things a little better there at that moment. It was always nice and polite, but that has stuck with me for a long time. And there's other people that this kind of behavior is stuck with me in terms of me feeling like I had to do things to get ahead like that, right? So, David Potter is another one. He was this awesome professor that I was TAing for when I was in my master's. He was teaching innovation. It was actually the first innovation course I took, management technology. At the University of Waterloo, and I was supposed to meet up with him. I had this great idea, which was actually turned out to be kind of like what reciprocity is at this moment. It was kind of building a platform that would help out people and sort of solve problems as you go and sort of build it into a system with that. So I was 21, 22 years old. So I've had this idea for a long time. It just didn't sort of come out in this particular appearance. But I was supposed to meet him for coffee, and I was living in Guelph, and for some reason I just didn't go meet him for coffee at Tim Hortons, and I've always felt really bad for that. So David, I'm truly sorry for missing out on that. There was lots going on in my life at that moment, though. I'm not making excuses, but there was a lot with my family and stuff, and I just truly apologize for for just bailing on you. Um, and then the last person I wanted to say I'm sorry to is so it was our PhD director, Dr. Glenn Rowe at the Ivey Business School at the University of Western Ontario. He was just an amazing, sweet person. Here's this ex-military guy. I think he was in the Navy, and very successful in the Navy, and he became a business professor. And I thought I was the person that was going to tell him, "Here, I'm a 25-year-old shit," and I was going to sort of tell him um, how things were supposed to go in my mind, right? And I'm not sure if he sort of perceived that, but that was the way that I was perceiving it. And I'm truly sorry for for just feeling like that. That's just not a cool thing to do. So, with this, I'm not perfect. And first of all, none of us are perfect with any of these kind of things that we deal with. We all have sort of experiences that we deal with that we're not proud about, whether it's you're 12 years old, or whether you're 25, or whether you're 35, or whether you're 80 years old and you do something. The big lesson that I've learned with doing these YouTube videos is it feels, even though that I can't, it's sort of hard to do these kind of things in person. Doing these things in video has been really sort of therapeutic in a lot of different ways for me, because I can speak to seemingly myself and hopefully other people that are out there that are going through these kind of things, but also to just be open. So that's what I've learned, is to be open, because it's very extremely therapeutic. And when you do go through these experiences, what I really wanted to mention and talk about is that it's often not you that is going through these things. It is, and we all make life decisions, but there's also a lot of sort of situational factors that go on behind it that make it so really difficult to do these kind of things, to sort of act in the way that you would love to do. So, to give you an example, I was also thinking about this during my PhD program. I really wanted to, get work done as quickly as I can, get out and become successful, become, this superstar person, superstar researcher. I always had in my mind that, I was going to be the next Einstein. Everybody sort of feels like that when they're doing their PhD, or a lot of people do, particularly those that are motivated. However, this comes at a detriment, because there was lots of people that I should have talked to and that were interesting people that were there. Mary Crossan, who is one who's a superstar in organizational learning at my institution. That's kind of what I study. There's just amazing people that were there that could have been sort of a useful resource to have conversations with, to have coffee with. I prioritize getting my work done in terms of having these sort of interesting conversations with them. And we all have to do this, and we all have regrets for not doing those kind of things. But just know that often we're put in these sort of situational places where we're sort of forced to make one decision or another. And it's a challenging thing that we all have to deal with. And sometimes you'll make what you think after is the wrong choice. And just know that this is going to be something that you have to deal with. And if you're dealing with the sort of emotions of shame, regret, all those kind of things, just speak openly about it. Like the story about me piling up wood, somebody that survived polio and is in a wheelchair. Yes, it was, it was sort of a terrible thing to do, but at the same time, I was 10, 12 years old. I didn't understand what was going on and what they dealt with as a kid. So just, give yourself some grace when you have those experiences. So that's all I want to talk about with this particular video is, be open when you have these experiences, and don't beat yourself up so much about it. And if you do have something where you just regret about, something that happened in your past, try to practice being more open and talking to people about it, and just saying sorry to those individuals that you went through, or that you might have sort of perceived in the wrong way. So that's all I want to talk about with this video. And thank you for putting up with me and everything that is going on with this whole reciprocity project. I do appreciate it. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.